Hello there, book friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Megan, and today I am going to be doing the first video for the Strike Back Videoathon that has been going around booktube. If you don't know what this is about, I will link the announcement video down below in the comments. You can go check that out if you want to join in. If you are a small booktuber, I highly suggest it. It is going to be a great way to get out there and get your videos seen some more. And what it is we are posting every day, once a month, and there are different prompts, although you do not have to follow the prompts, and I myself will be following most of the prompts, but not all of them, because I have a few different ideas that I want to do, some book reviews that I really want to talk about, so I will be doing those as well. But I will be doing my best to post every day up till February the 20th, when YouTube has declared that that is when smaller YouTubers who have been monetized so far will now be demonetized and not eligible for the money until they reach a certain number of hours. So we are trying to get out there, get our voices heard more, and if you're interested, definitely join in. But today I'm going to be doing the prompt, and the prompt is to talk about some of your favorite books that you read because of booktube. Now, I have been watching booktube videos for a little over a year now, and I've only been doing this for a few months. I have definitely read some really good books because people suggested them to me, and we are going to start off with a very popular series that was turned into a movie, and I love this series. I have here the Peculiar Children trilogy and the short stories Tales of the Peculiar, and well, that was fun. I'm only going to hold one book up at a time. I have here the first book, and if you do not know what this is, I will do my best to give like a super brief summary. Jacob has a horrific tragedy occur in his family, and he goes on to a journey to an island where he meets a bunch of peculiar children who he then goes on adventures with, and that's pretty much the brief summary of it. And the powers, or the peculiarities that the kids have in this series are so amazing. They're so unique, and I don't always see such different powers, such different abilities as this, and I really enjoyed reading this. And also another great thing about it is that it has pictures inside of it. These are some pictures that the author went around collecting, and these are vintage, so some of them are really weird, but they kind of go along with the story, and that makes the story more interesting. Have all these weird pictures in. I have the third book, Library of Souls, here, and I'm holding this up because, first of all, if you haven't seen, look at this. It has the name, naked, it has the names of the characters written on in their own kind of writing, and it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I didn't notice this till about a week ago when I was looking at the book. It's simple, but it's really unique, and I love it. I just love another thing I love about this book. I also absolutely love the way that this series wrapped up, and when I finished it, I reread the last few chapters over again just to be like, this is amazing! I love the ending! The only part of me that doesn't like the ending is because this book series ended. And that's the only reason why I didn't like it, because it ended, and I didn't want it to end because it's so beautiful. This series just had a really interesting plot line and some really interesting characters, and it wasn't like too stereotypical, and it didn't have a lot of cliches that I find really annoying. And I really love seeing the growth of Jacob, our main character, throughout the trilogy. Also just the interesting cast of characters that was in this book, that were present in this book. It just made it just so much more unique, and I absolutely love it. I enjoyed the movie, but not as much as I was hoping to. They did change a lot, so they're obviously not going to continue with the trilogy, which kind of sucks because I would have loved to have seen that play out on the big screen, but oh well. I also have the Tales of the Peculiar. I love this book as well, because this book is a book in the third book, and it has short stories from the peculiar times, and it was really fun to read. Some really wacky and weird stories, but they each have their own kind of moral values. Kind of reminds me of Tales of Beedle the Bard from Harry Potter. And this one just added to the world, and I love having it, and it's gorgeous, beautiful copy. It's beautiful. The other series that I have that I read because of booktube that I absolutely was blown away by, and I haven't actually quite finished it, I have here the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I am currently like 40 pages into the third book, and I am putting a pause on it to participate in the readathon, and I'm reading a couple of other books, and then I'm going to get right back to it because I need to finish it because it's just fantastic. But this is an adult high fantasy series, so it are like 600, 700 pages long, so they are long, so I like to pace myself and give myself time to breathe and enjoy these books. I don't want to like finish them. This is not a book for a readathon because I don't want to finish it in 2 days. I like to try and guess what I think is going to happen because there's just so many things that could happen, but it never goes the way I think it will. The plots in this series, the first book alone was magnificent. If you don't know, these books are about a group of people who have special abilities, and they can swallow an alloy of metal with water. Each metal has a different power that it gives them, and only certain people such as Mistborns are able to use all the metals, and I think it's about 9 or 10, gold, iron, etc. And we have our main character Vin, who is great, and I love seeing the growth that these characters go through in the trilogy. And the third book, they've already grown so much, and it's so beautiful, it makes me want to cry. And just in the first book alone, there's only plot twists and things that happen that I did not see coming. Vin is a Ska, and the Ska are under oppression by the Lord Ruler, and they're trying to defeat him, but it's turning out to be pretty hopeless for their cause. So we start off the story there when they already lost hope. We start off with like a band of rebels who are trying to take down the Lord Ruler. Kind of a redundant name, but whatever. But they're trying to take down the Lord Ruler and restore peace. But so much happens, and it's just beautiful. If you like fantasy and if you want to read adult fantasy, these are definitely great books to read. Here I have Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I would not have picked this up if I had not joined BookTube because I wasn't the biggest fan of John Green. I'd read The Fault in Our Stars, and I really liked that. Definitely his best book besides Turtles All the Way Down, but I am so glad I did pick this up because it has OCD representation, because it's an own voices story, and John Green gives you an example of what it's like to have OCD, and it's not a watered down funny version that you get in movies or TV shows and in other books. It's a real harder version of it that you don't get to see often, and I would say definite trigger warnings if you have anxiety or OCD yourself. Just go into this cautiously because it did make me feel anxious and nervous at times reading Aza's thoughts because she has what they call thought spirals and just goes on and on and on. I'm sure you've seen this around, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I am so glad that I got to read this book because it was just amazing. And this book is definitely more of a character-driven book, so if you go into it, it was marketed as a mystery, but it's really not a mystery. It's an own voices story, and it really is a character-driven novel with not that much of a plot, and I don't mind because I like character-driven novels, so this was right up my alley. This book that I don't have but I read because of BookTube is Thug, or The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and I'm sure everybody's heard of this a million times. It just was perfect. As perfect a book as I have ever read, and it gave me the goosebumps, it made me laugh, cry, feel, and it is being turned into a movie if you don't know, and our own little Rue, I can't remember the actor's name, but the actress who played Rue in the Hunger Games is going to be the actress for The Hate You Give, and I'm just so excited for the movie. It's going to be so great, and I hope that you all are going to go see it and support this movie. I'm sure you all will. But if you haven't read the book, you should definitely read it because it was totally worthwhile. I gave it 5 stars. If you don't know anything about this book, like, you have clearly not been on the BookTube community because it is everywhere. But it is a Black Lives Matter movement book that tells the story of Star, a 16-year-old girl who witnessed her best friend get shot by the police for no other reason than they were black, and it is just a heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, and inspiring story that I think everybody needs to read. The one that I read that I think really complements Thug is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This is a debut novel, and it even says, a must-read by Angie Thomas. I saw this on a few people's channels, and I decided to pick it up. It's a little over 200 pages. I read this in 3 hours because I could not put it down. It made me cry, it made me laugh, it gave me all the emotions that I wanted from this book. The only gripe I had is that it wasn't long enough. I did not want a 200-page book. I felt like there was more they could have added to the story. It was good, I just wanted more. I just wanted more from this book, you know? Because it was so good and I just didn't want it to end. This one is a similar story to Thug, but it deals with our main character, Justice, gets arrested by cops, and he gets arrested by cops for no other reason than he's black, but he decides to start a movement and writes letters to Martin Luther King asking him what to do. That's why it's called Dear Martin, and it deals with the issues of race relations and racism and how the things that you say that you don't think are harmful or hurtful are. If you haven't read it, you should read it. Okay? And this is one of the books that I read because of BookTube, and I do not regret it. Now to the last book of this video that I read because I was suggested to by BookTube. Here we have this book that I finished, that I tabbed like crazy, is The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. Now this is a book that deals with rape culture and what it means to be a woman in our misogynistic society, and how you have to constantly put up with men harassing you and sexual assault, and it deals with that. And this book does have good male characters in it as well that are nice guys, but it does deal with that issue, and it is an issue that is still very prevalent in our society today, and some people don't talk about it, but I think it should be talked about it because that's the only way that we're ever really going to try and conquer this way of thinking. We have our three main characters. We have Grace, who is a plus size lady who has just moved into this small town, and she finds out about this girl who was raped by the popular guys in town and had to move out because no one believed her. And she makes friends with Rosina, who is a young queer Mexican girl who just wants to be in a rock band and sing. But my favorite character was definitely Erin, and Erin has Asperger's, and I have actually I can't even think of any books that I've gone to reading that have a female autistic character in them. They are always men or boys, and it is so refreshing and it's so wonderful to see a female character who has Asperger's, and it's mentioned. And so many of the things that happen in here were congruent with what I know about autism. I have worked with autistic kids in the past, and I had a lot of friends who are autistic, so I do know a good amount about it. I really love seeing all the diversity in this cast, and the way the topic was handled was pretty thoughtful. There were like a few minor issues I had with it here or there, but I still gave it 5 stars because I think everybody needs to read this book. It is a compelling and powerful novel, and I saw this book on Emma Book's channel. I thought, oh my gosh, I have to read that. That sounds incredible. And I was at the bookstore and I wasn't sure if I was going to pick it up, and then I read the first 3 or 4 chapters and I thought I have to. I can't not pick this book up because it is amazing. So definitely give this a read. That has been me talking about all the books that I read because of BookTube that I absolutely loved. Have done this tag, or if you are participating in the Strike Back Videoathon, comment down below, let me know, and you can leave your link if you've done this down there and I will go check it out. Subscribe to me down below if you want more bookish content from me, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And that is all for now, lovelies. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Bye!